He who has a why to live can bear almost any how. In a concentration camp of the Second World War, a prisoner had a dream. And in that dream, a voice told him that he and his fellow prisoners would be liberated on March 30th. And he believed it with every fibre in his body. This dream gave him real hope, despite all his suffering. As the days grew closer to March 30th, it increasingly became clear to the prisoner that his prophecy was unlikely to come true. On March 29th, he suddenly fell ill. On March 30th, he became delirious and lost consciousness. And by March 31st, he had passed away. From the outside, it would appear this prisoner died from disease. But perhaps the ultimate cause of his death was that he lost his faith in the future, leaving his body to fall victim to a latent typhus infection. This is a true story told by Viktor Frankl in his book Man's Search for Meaning. Now, most of us will never experience anything remotely like that. But today, people are losing their sense of purpose in quieter ways. Many feel like their lives are completely lacking in meaning, like they're just drifting from one place to the other. After all, it seems we exist in a culture that knows everything about entertainment and pleasure, but very little about meaning and fulfillment. The truth is, you don't need a perfect life to have a meaningful one. You just need to follow certain crucial practices. In this video, I want to show you how meaning is the most important part of our lives. How Frankl managed to find deep purpose even while enduring the worst suffering imaginable, and how you can use his profound insights to find meaning yourself and help navigate your own life. To do this, I will explain to you Frankl's 3 pillars of meaning and his theory of logotherapy. We are living through what many have termed a meaning crisis. People are reporting that they feel purposeless and pessimistic about the future. We exist in a culture that tells us just to do what feels good, and that happiness is the ultimate end we should all strive for. Yet despite this, young people today are the least happy we have seen for generations. And it's not hard to understand why. Social media is harming our mental health, people are struggling to find love more than ever, and the prospect of doing seemingly basic things like starting a family and owning a home is becoming closer to a fairy tale than a realistic goal. On top of all this, we've seen the death of traditional sources of meaning, like religion or a connection with God, and in their absence we've been left with moral and spiritual relativism. The idea that there is no reason for our existence, and no true right way to live our lives. We are comfortable and entertained, but tragically lacking in a sense of meaning. I mean, just look at these statistics. According to the Harvard Graduate School of Education, 58% of young adults report that they have a lack of meaning or purpose in their lives. And this number is only likely to increase as time goes on. Knowing this can help us understand why we are seeing such a huge increase in mental health problems, as it seems the meaning crisis and the mental health crisis are inseparable issues. So, what is Viktor Frankl's framework on how to find meaning in life, called logotherapy, and how can it be practically applied to our everyday lives? First, let me explain the 3 pillars of meaning that Frankl outlines, with the third being the one that is likely the most vital, and sadly, the one our society misses completely. The first would be meaning through creation and works. This is the meaning one can gain through countless different pursuits. It can be through your job, through creating art, working on a project of yours, etc. The crucial aspect of this is that the meaning does not come from the ego, like the pursuit of money or status, but through the value that your actions have beyond yourself. In other words, the meaning comes from what you give, not what you get. This could be the meaning a teacher gets from educating and shaping young minds, the sense of purpose a musician gets from creating music that moves others, or the deep meaning a parent can get from raising and nurturing their child. If you stop being a consumer and become a creator, your life will be meaningful. The second pillar of meaning that Frankl outlines is meaning through experience. On the one hand, this can be meaning that one gets from experiencing things, such as the beauty of nature, art, or culture. But it can also be the meaning one gets from experiences of love for another person, their goodness, their honesty, and so on. One story Frankl retells that illustrates how valuable this source of meaning can be for people is one of his own experiences, where during a particularly grueling winter march, he retained his will to live by imagining the face of his wife every single day, and even having silent conversations with her, while guards forced him and his fellow prisoners to keep marching through the snow and icy winds. He didn't even know if his wife was still alive, as she too had been captured by the Nazis. But to him, this didn't matter, as he made the realization love goes very far beyond the physical person of the beloved. It finds its deepest meaning in his spiritual being, his inner self. The meaning he got from his love for his wife sustained him and kept him going, even during experiences so excruciating that we couldn't even imagine. And the third pillar of meaning, the one that may be the most crucial of all three, is meaning through suffering. There are situations where you might be cut off from your work, or cut off from your loved ones, or from the ability to enjoy your life. But what can never be ruled out is the unavoidability of suffering. Suffering is inevitable in all of our lives, but what matters is the attitude we take towards it. This is to say, you can find immense meaning from suffering if you can face it head on and turn it into a personal triumph. If you accept the challenge to suffer bravely, you will have meaning in your life, unconditionally. One story in particular that Frankl retells in his book shows us how changing the way we look at our personal suffering can provide us with a new sense of meaning and solace. After World War II, Frankl continued his work as a psychiatrist and psychotherapist, and one day a doctor mourning the loss of his wife came to him. He was deeply sad and was looking for a way to cope with the grief. Frankl asked him, "How would it have been for your wife if you had died before her?" To which the doctor responded, "It would have been terrible for her, how she would have suffered." Frankl then told him, "See, such a suffering has been spared her, and it was you who has spared her this suffering, at the price that you must now survive and mourn her." The doctor said no word, calmly shook his hand and left. While Frankl couldn't revive the doctor's wife, he could change his attitude to his unalterable fate, so that from that point onwards, he could at least see meaning in his suffering. It seems that in our modern culture, there is an unhealthy habit of viewing suffering as degrading, making people feel ashamed of their suffering. But instead, we should feel proud of our courage in facing such challenges, and view our ability to suffer bravely as an achievement of the highest kind. So, now we understand Frankl's logotherapy framework. How can we apply this to our everyday lives to help create meaning for ourselves? Here are 3 actionable and realistic ways you can create meaning for yourself today. Firstly, do something that creates meaning beyond yourself. In our modern culture, we often feel we must chase certain feelings like excitement or happiness. But Frankl says real meaning comes from what you give, not what you feel. You can do this by making something or doing something that leaves the world a better place than it was before. This could be by starting a creative project, saying something encouraging to a friend, fixing something around the house, helping a stranger, or working on something that serves others. Stop thinking, what can I get out of this? And think, what can I give? And ask yourself every day, what is one meaningful thing I can contribute today? Creating something beyond yourself, no matter how small, will help anybody find meaning and purpose. The second thing you can do is to find meaning through experience. As I mentioned earlier, this can be the experience of things, or the experience of loving another person. You could do this by spending time in nature, or immersing yourself in culture, reading a great novel, and so many more things. And even more importantly, you can do this through experiencing love for those around you. This doesn't have to be through a romantic relationship, but any close personal relationships. You can achieve greater meaning in your life simply by making time and putting an effort for those you care about. Organising a get-together with a friend instead of just bed-rotting all day, having a meaningful conversation with a family member, or doing something new and interesting with your significant other. What is key to understand is that meaning doesn't come from acquiring lots of friends, but from deepening your personal relationships and showing up fully for them. Make an active effort to deepen your relationship with those that are closest to you, even if it's just 1 or 2 people. And the third thing you can do is to change the way you look at personal challenges and suffering. I know it can be difficult, but just try and look at the adversity you face and reframe it as an opportunity to be brave and take responsibility to grow from it. Once you change the way you look at personal suffering, you can quickly begin to find great meaning in it. For example, if you feel lonely, look at it as an opportunity to build community and find new people. If you're grieving, look at it as an opportunity to honour what was lost. Look at it as the price you have to pay for having been fortunate enough to have loved in the first place. When you do this, when you turn pain into responsibility, suffering stops being pointless. It becomes part of your story. As Viktor Frankl says in his book, if you are able to accept this challenge to suffer bravely, life has a meaning unconditionally, up until its very last moment. If there's one thing you should get out of this video, it's that meaning isn't something you get from outside of yourself. It's something you create. You won't magically stumble across meaning one day or find it hiding behind a corner somewhere. Meaning comes from you. In many ways, Frankl's book, Man's Search for Meaning, is a call to action. It's a call to responsibility and to respond to life's demands head on. To create something for those around you, to actively put in effort for those you care about, and to be brave when facing challenges in life, so that you can turn them into personal achievements. In the words of Viktor Frankl, being human is always directed towards something or someone other than oneself, whether a meaning to fulfill or another human being. The more one forgets himself by giving himself to a cause or another person, the more human he is, and the more he actualizes himself. I really hope you enjoyed the video, and if you got something out of it, please do leave a like and subscribe. Until the next one, bye bye.